All right, here's a little. Let's talk about the Henry's Final Drive for the Goldwing. This one, Goldwing, happens to be a 2003 Goldwing. And the Final Drive, lots of information online, comes in a box like that, very well packaged. I just wanted to show you guys, this is the way the unit comes. It's all enclosed. This is covered with a piece of felt to keep debris out of it. Pretty straightforward, really. Here's my unit that I pulled out. Again, pretty straightforward. The hardest thing you're going to have is getting the spline out of here, the drive spline. There's a seal in here, right? And it's a pretty tight fit. That's where she's headed. And then the other thing is making sure that this guy is aligned internally. Let's take a look at that quick. Internally. With that guy, you see how that guy just floats? So yeah, you want to make sure that's centered. The biggest thing, get rid of the tire. In my case, I had to remove this back panel because I have a tow hitch. And that was in the way of getting the tire out. But nothing too terrible. Of course, it helps when you have a table. I have, there's the exhaust. That's not a big deal. There is 2 bolts right there. And one more right there. And that correlates to one right there. Further on up the road, it slides right onto there. And your 2 clamps, that collar, just all it does is clamp down on this. No big deal at all. The biggest struggle for anybody is going to be the 4 of these. One on the other side, one on the top, and one on the other side on the top. Right there, you can see, look at the gap you got here. You can't get a socket on there. So the only thing you can do is get a wrench, and mine were son of a biscuit tight. Now the good news is when you put this back on, they're not nearly that tight. I think they're like 65 foot-pounds. It's almost nothing. I started to remove my saddlebag. Turns out I actually didn't need to, but I thought maybe it might be easier. So maybe wasted too much time. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a gap here, because this guy here, as you can see, look how much room I've got to move. Hey, let me shut this off here quick. There. See, whoops, sorry, this one here. See the distance here? There's like no distance to get a wrench on. I don't know if I can light that up well enough to give you the visual. I mean, look at how tight that is. It's just crazy. You know, so that's really the toughest one of the 4. Well, I shouldn't say that. This guy back here, only because of its location and the amount of room you have. Now, I ended up, it's 17 mil. These guys are 17 mil. I ended up using one of these mostly, and then I used a straight one, and then I also used this guy here. Simply grab onto it and create leverage. Let's see. Oh yeah, I removed this guy, and I removed that guy right here, and of course right here to get at this stuff better. What else can I tell you guys? My next task, this one here has, a lot of people don't know what this is. All this is if the internal parts start leaking, that's your indicator. It'll start filling this up. The odds of it happen, almost 0 to none. But Henry put this on as an added option. Of course, that's the drain. And the filler is up on top. And I'll take another video probably as I move forward There's the rear brake caliper. You know, there's one connection point right here, and I've got it hanging out of the way. It wasn't very complicated at all. My next task, to be honest, if you look at this guy here, it looks like he's starting to strip out. These guys are on super tight, just from heat. So I might use an impact or something like that to pop that guy off. But yeah, that's it for now. I will try to continue with the journey. Oh, the other thing I should add here. So here's your instructions. Gives you service information. And it gives you some tips on, apply engine oil to the seating surface, locking agent to the screws. They actually give you more information on here than you really need, but the instructions, man, they might have been better if you can see the pictures. They're just terrible. And it says speed sensor. Now, I haven't exactly figured this out yet. So I've got the speed sensor location on mine. And guess what? There's nothing there. So, and it looks like, I don't know, maybe nothing since factory. But I'm kind of curious to learn where it was moved to. I know the newer models have it somewhere else. I haven't researched it yet. Well, I guess right here it says after 03. Yeah, that's looks like the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. My speedometer works, so. And then he makes reference to. Yeah, honestly, I can't make out what this image is. Check the gear case stud bolts are tight. If any of them are loose, remove them, clean them, bada bada boom, and make sure. Well, I'm not doing anything with the. I'm not doing anything with the gear case, so I wonder if that's just precaution, right? Because the gear case here, guys, is. I'm not touching any of them. Oops. So, and like even this image here, one could do better. It tells you where to apply Molly to on the shaft splines. So obviously like right here. Surprisingly, there's not much on there. But the bike has 70,000 miles, so maybe that's the reason, right? Yeah, and this is, that's the extended instructions. And I really didn't find anything online. I did find one gentleman did a really good narrative of his job. He didn't actually show any of the removal or the installation. He just talked about it because he was doing it for a customer. And then he did the video afterwards. But I enjoyed listening to him because he had some anecdotes on what went wrong and what to avoid, etc. And he's the one that clued me in on the best way to get those suckers off. So that's it for now, gang. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more. And I might do, as I said, this is 2003. I might do a video here on my wrap job. So I wrapped the whole bike. It used to be red. And I also added the newer style saddlebags. They're a direct fit. But, oh, yeah. And 6.5-inch speaker pods. So I can actually hear on the radio. Oh, yeah. And spray painted all this stuff black to match. Anyway, thanks again for listening. Stay tuned for more. Leave comments. I'll respond in kind.